Okay, so this video is about things having shitty sequels. You get movies that have shitty sequels, you get series that have shitty sequels, books, all kinds of things. It's not exclusive to anything. Usually this happens when you have a really successful and popular product, like a series of movies or something, and people and corporations and marketing teams just want to keep making money off of it because it was successful, so they try to continue it thinking that just by the brand name alone, they will continue to profit, and sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't, but always it hurts the story because when someone creates a story, I've already talked about, it's an artistic vision, and when you try to continue something past its natural and organic endpoint, there's no longer an artistic vision to it. And you can see so many examples of this. Terminator is a great one. The one I'd like to talk about in a more comprehensive way. You see it in the Predator movies, the Alien movies, you see it in all kinds of slasher movies like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween. You saw with the action movies like Taken. I think John Wick is the only one that doesn't have horrible and shitty sequels because they kind of left it open. Ended enough. You see this with TV shows. You see it with all kinds of shit. It isn't even just sequels. Sometimes they just do reboots and try to remake shit, and it's unnecessary. They try to remake old movies thinking that if they do a touch up with modern shit, then it'll be just as successful, or they'll try to reboot a series and try to start fresh by doing a lot of the same things but with different characters while hitting the same narrative beats, and it doesn't work when you are trying to when you create something purely driven by making money. It's just never going to be successful. You're never going to touch anyone. It's never going to affect anybody because it's just hollow and it's meant to make money. And it's very sad to see so many franchises destroyed by this insatiable lust to just keep making money by these fun companies. And you see people defend it, people who don't have standards, and they just accept whatever they're given, and they sit here and they fucking defend these shitty, awful, money-driven franchises, and I just don't understand how some people can support shit that just hurts the thing that they enjoy, or they don't see that it hurts it, but I don't know, it's just weird. I just wish it wasn't such a thing. I don't know, when I was younger and I'd come up with series and ideas, I didn't always like having an ending. I would come up with episodic stuff when I was really young, and usually they wouldn't get to an end point, but as I got older, I started to realize the value and recognize the value of having an ending. Having a resolution to everything, whether good or bad, everything has to come to an end, because as humans, our lives obviously come to an end, and whether or not we are satisfied with it, that is what's going to happen. And so whether or not you're satisfied with the ending of a story, it's better that the story has an ending rather than to just keep getting continued by marketing teams that just don't give a fuck, you know. It just isn't good, you know. You look at fucking Star Wars and all the shit and turmoil that's happened with that. There are some people who like anything they're given that'll like it, and then other people who just don't. They didn't need to see the story continued, and when they did continue the story, all it did was tarnish the things that they appreciated about the original story that was there. They resurrected Palpatine, making all of what they did in the sixth movie completely meaningless. It's just, there's so fucking many examples of it. My favorite movie, Starship Troopers. I've never read the book, and I know the movie deviates a lot from the book because Paul Verhoeven apparently doesn't like to read or something. But they tried to continue that without him there. They tried to continue Paul Verhoeven's Starship Troopers without Paul Verhoeven there, and so it just ended up meandering and becoming some weird ass series of movies. The second movie's like a softcore porn that also tries to be like Alien and The Thing, and that doesn't work. It's just a weird, boring fucking movie until like the last 20 minutes, maybe. The third movie was good, but, well, it wasn't good. It was a piece of shit as far as production. Looks like shit, but it was fun at least. More so than the second movie. It was like the first movie without a budget, and also they walk around on a desert planet for an hour, which is kind of boring. But the beginning is fun, the ending is fun when they bring the Marauders. And then it just kind of deviates into the two animated movies, Starship Troopers Invasion and Starship Troopers Traitor of Mars. Invasion at least took place on a ship. It was interesting. I wouldn't say it was good. It certainly wasn't entertaining that much. Again, there's too much sex and just weird shit that they think is Starship Troopers. Or they think is adult. I don't know why they do all that shit, but they do that. They make the Marauders look like shit. It's a weird movie. It's not very good. And then you have Traitor of Mars, which is just starts off looking entertaining. They're in a city fighting arachnids, and when I first saw it, I thought, oh wow, that's different. I'd sure like to see where this is going. And then they just end up walking around the desert for an hour again, just like the third movie, and I just don't get it. I understand that no one has a vision for it, and that's why the movies are shit, but I don't know why they keep trying to churn them out. They know there's an audience for it, and someone clearly wants to keep it going, but it just can't. And that's the truth of a lot of series. They need to come to an end at some point. You can't keep creating sequels, because eventually they just hurt what happened before and make the stuff that happened before and sacrifices and everything that happened in the story look completely meaningless. And when you reboot and you remake shit, then you're just tarnishing its legacy by making an inferior version that didn't need to exist. And there's no reason to do that. You're never going to capture the magic of an original. We've seen that with so many series where they're trying to cash in on the brand name alone and think they can just recreate magic in a bottle, or what's the expression, lightning in a bottle, or white lightning in a bottle. You just can't do it. When you have a story and it comes to an end, it should be left at the ending. If the original creator has a vision that isn't inspired by money and they really are passionate about it, then sure, you can try and go with a sequel. But I know from personal experience with my stories that sometimes you can't come up with a sequel, but it isn't that good. It really just hurts the thing that came before it. And if you just keep trying to make sequels, then they get shittier and shittier and shittier. And you see that. You see so many examples of that, especially with horror movies. So, yeah, there's a point to this. It's just to say that things do need to come to an end, and it's okay that they come to an end. I see a lot of people celebrate when something gets continued. They say they want stuff to come back. They're nostalgic for it. And I get that, but it's more important that the integrity of the art should be your main concern above just getting more of it. Quantity does not equate to quality, and quality is certainly a lot more. You get more out of quality than you would quantity. You can watch a good movie over and over again forever and enjoy it, or you can just get like 10 movies that aren't that good. They're decreasing in quality, and you're always going to go back and watch the first or second one, but you're not going to go and watch the 7th one ever again because it's a piece of shit. So we don't need to continue this practice of just trying to continue and churn out the fucking stuff. We don't. It's okay if it comes to an end. There's no reason to get upset about it. Yeah. There's a lot more examples I could get into of shows and series and anime and video games and everything. There are some things that have continued with sequels and they just need to come to an end and they need to be laid to rest because as I already said, the sequels just are hurting the legacy of what came before it. And I think that's another thing. Some people just need to recognize when the series runs its course. There's nothing more you can get out of it. Yeah. I'd like to get in a more comprehensive breakdown of a certain series. I already mentioned kind of thoughts on the Terminator franchise, in particular Terminator 2, but that'll be in sometime in the future, distant future probably. Right now I'm just trying to keep on the criticisms of the entertainment industry thing going on. I don't like scripted stuff, and I'm not sure about criticizing particular things. I'd have to think about how I want to do that. So yeah, sometimes things just need to come to an end.